Greetings, folks. Good morning, and welcome back to I'd Lather Be Shaving. I'm Douglas Smythe from PhoenixShaving.com, and to my left,
Matt Pisarcik, Razor Emporium.
woo! Today we have yet another killer episode. We are going to be looking at.
We're going to be looking at things that come from eBay, misidentified razors, how to sort through eBay junk lots.
It's stuff that turns up all the time.
Yeah, and mostly dispelling some myths and also clarifying some issues. I got some issues.
Subscriptions even. All this and more in today's episode, folks, of I'd Lather Be Shaving.
Yep.
I've seen pictures.
He's also a space alien. Yeah. Okay, so here we are. You are getting into wet shaving. You are, wanting to try out maybe some vintage razors, and you decide to go to your favorite auction site,
eBay.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Should
You're
be, though.
excited. You're really getting into this hobby, and you're seeing all these, better deals.
Yeah.
Like good deals.
And you're wondering,
lots.
is this makes for a good razor? Can this be restored? Can this be fixed? Is this worth it?
All this.
We're here to tell you some. Number one razor that I think I see on eBay lots all the time is the old Schick injector. And this one...
That's a pretty one with the blue handle.
It is pretty, the blue handle. Someone, though, messed it up, and it's not supposed to come off like this so you can open it. It's easy to repair on our end, but definitely...
On your end?
On our end.
Not so much.
Yeah, you could do some damage. But injector razors in general are pretty straightforward. They're fun to use. They're pretty inexpensive. Blades are easy to get. But bottom line is they give a great shave. A lot of people compare them to straight razors. So if you have never tried an injector, try one.
Yes, but that being said, when you pick it up on eBay, a lot of the times, I don't know if you can hear that, but you can hear a shaking going on. That means it's kind of a dud. It's too loose to hold the blade. And you get that a lot with these used Schicks. There we go.
A quick tip I always tell people, if the blade itself is actually coming out, that means this top fork, or whatever, the top of the head may be too loose. You can actually take it to the edge of a table and just push down a little bit, and you'd be surprised how easily that bends that right back to holding your blade tight.
Excellent advice. Yeah, because when I first got into the hobby, I was buying a lot of them. They were so cheap.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, and they would give me a poor,
if the blade
idea
has chatter
of what the razor was like, and it wasn't at its best.
Yeah.
So that's the one problem I have with eBay products or items is you don't know what their history was, how they went through time, and are they a good representation of that razor? Because they could be dented and dinged up, and you wouldn't even know it if you're a noob. So let's cover some of that. What you will see a lot of is this bad boy.
Another
right here.
big one.
And this will blow your mind when you first find it. It's a vibrating razor.
Yeah, so people think of the fusion razors from Gillette or Mach 3 Power as vibrating razors, but that idea goes back to 1939, 1940 time frame when the live blade came out from Stahly. Now these feature a wind-up handle where you twist it. There's a big torsion spring inside that kind of vibrates the entire head and the entire handle. This one was working not too long ago, and I go to bring it to right before the show, and now it's not. And that's kind of honestly how these things go. Is they are very finicky. They can work and they can break. People over tighten them all the time.
Yes.
Or they try to stop it by backing it off.
Yes.
Bottom line is that if you get one that works, awesome. Even if it doesn't work, it still has a huge, hefty, weighty handle, which people pay money for the handles nowadays just for a big, hefty handle. You're going to end up holding this a little bit different, though, more in the palm than kind of as just the fingers up here. But either way, pretty cool razor.
Yeah, that's where it differs than most safety razors. In fact, if this is going to be your first safety razor, know right away the weight distribution is going to be completely different on this. It's where it's handle heavy as opposed to head heavy.
Yeah.
So you're going to want to hold this a little differently than you would a normal DE safety razor, where the head is the weight you typically rely on.
Right.
So different focal point.
And we do service these in our shop, but the price of them is so expensive just because it's extremally labor intensive. Yeah, it's like taking apart a clock.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And that's how it was marketed back in the day too, as almost like a wind-up clock. Oscillates at 3,000 vibrations per minute too.
Right.
It's a pretty interesting design, and like, so for folks thinking that that's a whole new concept of vibrating razor, these have been around for almost 100 years now.
I think the 3940 up to about 78 they were made.
Great for your collection, though. If you're missing one of those in your collection, they're so affordable, you might as well pick one up. A Stahly.
Now, switching gears, no pun intended, I picked this up in an eBay lot, and it's one of my favorite automobiles, a Porsche 911. But this is an Avon product. It's Wild Country by Avon. And you'll see a lot of these different Avon bottles, sometimes thrown into lots or part of razor lots. And I love it. And I think we've talked about on the show, if they have the original aftershave, bonus. If not, it still looks really cool in your collection.
And these are cheap enough, too.
Yeah,
people back in the day
Country.
thought these were collectible, but they made so many of them that they're out there.
It's still good.
Yeah, that's classic. Wild Country.
Yeah.
See, I would have put this in a Delta Royale by Oldsmobile, the classic. But I'll settle for this.
A 68 Porsche.
Yeah, this is great stuff. And typically Avon's scents were based on other popular scents at the time.
They always say it's a Porsche when you want one. It's a Porsche when you own one.
Ooh. Or when you're married to one if you're Caesar. But go on.
Another kind of interesting myth or an interesting thing you'll see thrown into razor lots are these. Now, some people think these are everywhere. I've heard Zippo lighters. I think it's the number one thing. They think it's a little Zippo lighter. But I brought this one from my collection to show because this is the 1910s style blade bank. So this came with all the razors from about 1908 up to like 1915, 1919, somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. But they had this little serration on the back side. And a lot of people like to think that that's for striking a match. It very well could be, but Gillette never showed that in an advertisement. But have you ever heard that or seen that?
Again, this is like the original Nintendo with that weird contraption down below.
Yeah.
Like, this is like some forethought, but that would definitely work for striking a match.
Maybe it was, who knows?
For camping, I mean, you could put matches in that.
Gillette never showed it in an ad. I would love to say, yeah, check out this ad, but no. It's interesting nonetheless.
It is very
But it's for holding razor cases. A really quick ID for these. The ones that have the little ears like this are from 1910. The ones that are smooth are from 1920. And the ones that come apart like a sandwich are 1930.
Very nice. Come apart like a sandwich. Never thought of anything like that except a sandwich. But go on, what else we got?
Another cool razor that I have in my personal collection, you see a couple times out there, is the Travelong. It was marketed as one of the most compact double-edged razors ever made. They were supposed to be able to fit in a vest pocket. I held onto this one simply because it was gold-plated, but it's kind of neat. It slides up like this, and you have a nice little razor head and comes apart. You can slide the blade in. And it takes a traditional...
I have seen these on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah, these pop up quite often, folks.
But very cool. If you are going to travel with one, I mean talk about convenient.
It shaves at it's at an angle.
Yeah.
It's really...
This
will get the job done, I'm pretty sure. We should actually try this on a future episode.
Yeah. Do a little challenge.
Very interesting.
Now, I have to do a public service announcement. I've been wanting to do this on the Razor Emporium channel, but this is even better for them. We get in straight razors all the time for honing, for restoration, and one recent kind of anomaly we've been seeing is the cropping up of these
crapping
up of these imposter razors. Now, by all means, this looks very much like a straight razor. It has all the cues of a straight razor. It has a pair of handles. It has what looks like a blade.
Tang.
Yeah, tang. It even has some kind of pattern. Looks like it's quality steel, maybe. Everything I said is false. This is not a straight razor. The best description I can give for this is a
glorified letter opener.
Glorified letter opener.
Yeah.
And the reason is this is not tempered steel, meaning that it was never put into a forge, brought up to like 1500 degrees, and then quenched in hot oil. So yes, it's steel. Yes, it looks like a straight razor, but if you go to sharpen this, it's going to last for one shave and you have to sharpen it again. It won't hold an edge.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I have people all the time who are buying these. They're spending $20, $30, $50. And I have to tell them the sad news, they've been kind of ripped off. So if you see anything, I always notice this pin that kind of has like a flower look.
Pakistan.
Yeah, Pakistan. It always has that pin, so this is a word to the wise.
Telltale.
If it's not they never have a maker's mark. There's never Germany or Solingen or Sheffield.
They don't want to claim it.
Yeah, so there's no mark.
There's Sweeney Todd ones out there too. I've seen noobs will pick those up all the time. They'll play pretty petty for it and thinking they're getting a straight razor, but it's not.
No, it looks neat. Thing. It's a letter opener. It's not. You can't even shave
the box.
it.
I mean, it doesn't hold up.
Wonky.
It's crap.
So what do you got?
Well, that brings us to Duplex.
Yeah.
Durham Duplex. Now, Durham is really, this 1920s to about 1978, I believe. Durham was it was all over the place. And it still is on eBay. So many of these things were made that people are just practically giving them away. Now, if you look at it, it looks almost like a straight razor design.
Yeah.
But what it was is, well, it took a DE, but not your average DE. Hold that, Matt.
Sure.
These Durham blades.
This is like looking at a dinosaur, like as a evolution, basically. That if you look at this is kind of a hybrid between the double edge, technology like Gillette was putting out.
That's the blade right
But then
there,
also a straight razor, because they were putting combs on straight razors to make them safer.
Mm-hmm. Or for shaping
Yeah.
shavettes and whatnot, for barbers and what,
Right, but this is pretty neat. So you can still get blades from today, though.
That's right. In fact, if you own one of these and it's just been being used as a paperweight, I have good news for you. You can actually find modern blades for this that'll fit it anyways and function the same way. Back in the day, we were using like rug cutting blades and so on and so forth. But then I discovered, thanks to a friend, the Persona still makes blades for this. They're pathology blades.
Oh, very cool.
Reference number 72-0200. Pick these up. This is a 100 pack. I think it cost me about $25, but these fit it perfectly. And I mean, even if you look at these, actually, we'll show you in this. I have some blades on hand here. So a comparison between the modern blades and the actual duplex blades.
Now, what you don't want to do is get blades from Home Depot. They do sell carpet cutting blades, but they're not up to snub for shaving.
And these are both, feel it, same width and everything. Now, these are stiffer than normal DE safety razor blades.
Yeah.
So it performs almost like a straight razor.
Yeah.
And in fact, you can hone them too to keep them sharper longer.
That's pretty cool that Doug actually taught me something today on razors, because I didn't know that these were still being made.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard that they still make modern ones in England somewhere, but
Okay.
I don't know how true that rumor is. I recommend these Persona blades. And the Persona is one of the last made in the USA blades.
Yeah.
So here's another version of it, and you've seen this before in past episodes.
Yes, I've seen a lot of those.
Briefly, but this is a fixed handle version. So again, it takes the same size blades. This is called the Dewberry Duplex, or the Durham Dewberry, whereas this is the Durham Duplex. I like it, but I still need to hang with it a little more, shed some wood with it, because the fixed handle is just a completely different feel.
Shed some wood.
I think it shaves better in the straight razor type format, but
Right.
it's your miles may vary, as with anything else in life and wet shaving.
These are kind of a little bit tricky to load. You got to be careful loading one of these. It's very easy to serrate your finger on this.
Yeah. This one, however, is very easy to load. So that's the difference: is easy to load, not so easy to load. That one's probably worth shaving with more so than this, but I suggest you still pick one up for your collection.
So you would hold it like this with the blade, the guard, obviously the teeth pointing down, so it almost would be like a safety razor, I guess, right?
Yeah, and I think again it shaves better in that format.
Very cool.
This little case that I'm using isn't the original case. This was made by Frugal Shaves. Aaron at Frugal Shaves made this for me, and it's really neat too.
Like an Altoid tin insert.
Anytime he picks up a new vintage razor, he makes a case for it, and that's what happened. Is he just picked up one of these bad boys, and knowing that I had one, was kind enough to send me one as well. But he has a little blade storage unit too for down below.
Very cool.
Yeah, so I highly recommend you pick one of these up for your collection. And again, they're always available. The fixed handle one, the Dewberry, is a little bit harder to find, but when you do, the prices still are typically low. The Duplex, you can find this everywhere. Even antique shops, ones will always crop up, and typically the blades are intact. And what's great about this, and how I always love to find any type of paper inside, this is an ad for their strops.
There you go.
That you can send in by mail. It's only $1.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've been antiquing or talking to someone on the phone about what they have in their collection. They always say, I have a Durham. I got one of those Durhams, and I'm always like, yeah, Durham. I've always, it's something you see a lot in the safety razor.
Yeah, it's not a rare find, but it is definitely something for the collection. So I highly recommend 1930s, 1920s. Not so rare, but definitely something for the collection. Moving along, you will also find aftershaves. You will find vintage aftershaves all the time. In fact, let's talk about how to find stuff on eBay real quick. At the top,
there's a search bar. Use it.
Well, there's not only a search bar, but you can fine tune. You can filter out what you're looking for.
Yeah, in the categories.
By price, by buy it now, so on and so forth. So be sure to use those filters. A lot of people just overlook them. You can also use eBay in other countries like ebay.uk,
DE,
even Japan, and use Google Translate to find what you're looking for. Stuff will often crop up in these other places rather than finding it in the United States. Shipping may be a bitch. But if there's something you're looking for and it's rare and that's the only place you've seen it, it's worth it.
Also look for misspelled words.
Oh yeah.
Number one thing is that people put Gillette with one L or one T or whatever, but
or Fat Boy. They call everything a Fat Boy too.
Everything's a Fat Boy. Yeah, exactly.
So getting back to vintage aftershaves, again, you want to search for vintage, and you can abbreviate that with VTG in the search bar. This one right here is especially, smell that, Matt. This is Burley.
Burley.
By Old Spice. This was around from 1967 to about 1971.
That was my grandfather's middle name.
It's in high school. What do you think about this?
It's very mild. It wasn't. I thought I was like gonna get hit in the face with it, but it's not.
It's almost like a leather note. This is an aftershave and cologne. And this is great for traveling.
It's really nice.
Even this case is just held up through time.
Yeah.
And like
a little bit different than the regular Old Spice.
And you can almost smell the regular Old Spice in there too.
Yeah.
And this is the Shelton's formula too. So this is just a fine example.
What they probably did was the stuff that didn't make the first cut, they repackaged it and called it Burley.
What I'm saying really is don't stop at just the Old Spice Shelton's formula, the original formula. You can also look for other variations on that formula, like the lime or Burley. I'm telling you, if you haven't tried this one out, try it out now. So these are some stuff that will crop up on eBay a lot. Don't overlook them. Don't shrug them off. Don't necessarily think they're rare either. And how you can work with them.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
make them part of your collection. And
That's
appreciate them still. A lot of people picked up the Durham back in the day and didn't use it because they couldn't find blades. They're your blades. Give it a go. It's definitely worth the time and energy you put into it.
Well, I think it's also worth mentioning some of the Gillette stuff out there.
Always Gillette. We can't get away from Gillette.
I know. Well, they were the biggest,
by them.
the best.
Well,
the inventor, the pioneer.
They're really good at what they did.
Well, yes. So I think the number one thing we kind of touched upon it was Fat Boy. So people look at a Fat Boy or another adjustable razor and they call it all Fat Boys. The Fat Boys,
especially
the Slims, yeah, the Fat Boys are gonna have that little black line underneath the dial, whereas the Slims do not. So that's one of the biggest clarifications. Also, in terms of some of the things that can't be repaired. In fact, this just happened to me. Seriously, no joke. I just bought a lot of razors on eBay, and there was like 20 or 30. And
okay, like a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. And the person, they did say it does not click. And if they say that, you need to be prepared for the fact that the clicker is most likely broken. So there was 3 Fat Boys in the lot.
So you have to get up and change the channel yourself?
Yeah, one of those. And so I took apart actually this morning and to look at them, and out of the 3 that didn't click, 2 of them had broken clickers. So they are...
Nothing worse than a broken clicker.
Yeah, they are a part that you really can't replicate or replace very easily, so they're pretty much worthless. So if you find razors that they say up front they don't click, be prepared that you're not...
You're talking about the adjustment
That
mechanism.
little tiny red or black indicator, that little piece of steel is actually what stops the adjuster and also performs the audible click you're hearing. They're gone, they're done. So you really
Nothing you can do about that. Even you.
Not yet. We are working on something.
Okay. That's what I like to hear.
Yes, but I currently know.
So it doesn't mean that you can't shave with it.
No, it just means that it's gonna never stop on the number. So you can get a 4.5 or 3 3.75, whatever.
Oh, that's
5
interesting.
quarters?
Or -1.
Yeah. So it's not gonna stop and lock in place, but with the tension of the doors down on it, it actually shouldn't really move around. So you can use it.
But you're not going to really get an educated opinion on how the razor was supposed to function.
Exactly. Other things, if you have razors that, like, let's say the butterfly action doesn't open properly, or it has like the knob is dropped out of the handle, stuff like that, we can fix with a tune-up service. But yeah, maybe not so much you can do at home.
But give it a shot anyways.
Yeah.
Now what do we do?
I think
Trivia.
it's time for some trivia. Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. How trivial. Welcome to Trivia Hairsuit.
Trivial Feud.
Trivial Feud. I like mine better. Regardless, we are going to be playing some, trivia.
Yeah,
eBay trivia.
And if you want to answer the question, you have to grab the tin.
If we don't want to, we just sit here and drink coffee.
Like a cheapskate. So, let's get started.
All right. What country is the #1 for sales per capita?
The United States.
That's wrong. Matt, you have
Sales
the
per capita of what?
of eBay.
The #1
You gotta touch
country? China.
That is also wrong. It is the United Kingdom.
I said United though. I should get a half point.
You get 0 points. But he gets -1.
That's true. All right. Question number 2. What was the first item sold on eBay?
Star Wars collectible figurine of some type.
No.
Okay, my turn.
No, that's true.
My turn.
eBay
G.I.
was-
Joe.
No.
No, eBay was made for Star Wars.
No.
This is totally
No,
true.
it was made for lovers.
God. What was it?
The first item sold on eBay was a broken laser pointer.
eBay was made for Star Wars toys. I'm almost certain of this.
Sounds like it was made for suckers.
Well, okay, I really believe this strongly. Please leave a comment if you think the Star Wars thing is true, and we can prove Marissa wrong, which I'd love doing.
Yeah, he does. So we're in a tie right now.
Yeah, I guess so.
We're both -1. Hey.
Okay. What was the most expensive purchase made on eBay so far?
I would say a human kidney. And the
How much does that go for?
I don't know, $750,000.
But it's got to be human.
$750,000?
Yeah.
Human kidney?
I don't know.
No, that's incorrect.
Star Wars action figure.
No, that's
Yeah, I had to
incorrect.
try, right?
It was actually a giga yacht that sold for $168 million.
Is that like bigger than a
Very
gigabyte? Oh,
It's like a gigawatt, you know.
What the hell is a gigawatt?
I used to be a giga. Oh no, that was something else. Go on.
Yeah, okay. So, was your name Buck Naked?
Question number 4.
What just happened?
How many times has the town of Bridgeville, California been sold for on eBay?
Grab the can.
No. I thought I
What if we don't grab the can?
Yeah.
Either of us.
Then you don't get a point, but you also don't win a point.
Okay, that's fine.
That's fine.
Moving on.
Next question.
Okay, it is between 1 and 5.
Oh, you want us to answer this? I'm not taking a chance on that one.
3. Okay, I mean, like, this is...
5.
I thought we were going to be getting, like, razor questions
Keep
here.
going.
2.
3.
You already
4!
Yes!
Ding, 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 ding.
Did you just ding, 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 ding?
I ding, ding, ding myself, yes. See, he always has to one-up me. And he thinks it's...
No, that was a 2-up.
Okay.
All right, the next one is a yes or no question. This is our final question. Can you sell a soul on eBay?
Yes. No!
The answer is
You
no.
can buy a jar of pee.
No, they actually ruled in this. I realized because you can't deliver it. Because you can't deliver it.
I have the official rules.
Well, is that-
According to eBay, if the soul doesn't exist, you may not sell it because there would be nothing to sell.
Yeah.
And if it does
I was
exist,
talking. No. See, I was talking about shoe soles to redo your shoes
bullshit.
with. And you can buy them.
Okay.
And if it does exist,
Da-
you
da- da-
cannot
da-
sell
da-
it
da-
due to the restrictions on human body parts, and you can't sell ghosts either.
Yeah.
I was not talking about that.
Bottom line, you can't deliver
I didn't.
it.
You audibly, I couldn't hear how you were spelling that. So I was thinking shoe sole.
There's always an excuse.
Which
for
you
this guy.
can.
Always an excuse.
Hey, guys, you decide in the comments below.
Yes, please do. Let us know what you think, because these questions were ridiculous. eBay trivia that had nothing to do with razors, but go figure.
Jar of pee,
Yeah.
soles.
Let's fire that intern.
I'm a soul man. Regardless, this brings us to the end of another scorching episode of I'd Lather Be Shaving. But before we go, I want to remind you to enter this week's giveaway. And what are we giving away, Matt?
We're giving away a new car!
A new car! That's not true, but we are giving away soap and aftershave. That's right, folks. Maybe not necessarily this soap and aftershave, but a soap and aftershave regardless. All you have to do is comment below, like, and be sure to subscribe to I'dLatherBeShaving.com. And you know what? Just a little reminder, that little bell thing down there, it's shaped like a little bell. If you click that, that'll give you notifications when we drop a new episode. But you already know it's every Friday morning. So have a great weekend, folks, and thanks for tuning in. This is Douglas Smythe from FingerShaving.com, and
Matt Psarcik, Razor Emporium. We'll be seeing you next week.
ciao.
A lot of sound effects.
Man, it was Taco Tuesday yesterday at
Wait, on Tuesday?
Yeah, no, that's right. At Joyride.
I want to have Taco Tuesday on a Friday.
No, everyone called out yesterday. Like, literally just Carlos called out, Eric called out.
Okay.
We're rolling.
Yeah.
Oh.
Jeff, roll.
Rolling.